we are going to take some time today to look at how to use our calculator to help us with some of the math that's going to be coming up in algebra. It would be great, ideally, if we were all awesome and fantastic at working with fractions and decimals and exponents, but my guess is that some of us have a hate of fractions and only are on team decimal. And there's just going to be times we can't avoid that this year. So instead of that being a big hiccup or problem for us along the way, I'm going to show you how to use a calculator to help you get past those hurdles so that fractions aren't a problem for you this school year. So first of all, a TI-30X2S calculator, so this type of calculator right here, is the type I strongly recommend and is the only type of calculator that I'm going to be showing you how to use. Just because I can't possibly go through every single calculator. It comes in all different colors, okay, pink, blue, orange, yellow. So if you need to, go out and get one, order it off Amazon, whatever you sort of need to do. Hopefully we already have one of these. If you do, pause this video. If it's not with you, go pull it out so you can follow along and make sure you're using your calculator appropriately this school year. So first thing, obviously we can do all of our basic operations on this calculator, right? So we have division, oops, sorry, I'm shaking the camera, multiplication, subtraction, and addition. One of the main thing on TI calculators is recognizing that this button down here on the bottom is a negative, whereas this one over here on the side is our subtraction. We cannot mix those up, okay? So I have this linked on Canvas if you want to open it up and follow along, or if you just want to watch the video, I'll show everything that you need to see here. So first thing is that we can enter a fraction. Okay, so to enter a fraction into our calculator, we're going to use the ABC button, which is located right here. Okay, so the ABC button is right here. So if we want to enter a fraction like 1 2/3, in our calculator, we'll press 1, the ABC button, 2, the ABC button again, and then 3. So you'll notice how you see these sort of backwards L's. That's just telling us that it's part of the fraction. It knows to read this as a mixed number, which is 1 2/3. Right? Remember, a mixed number is where we see the large number in front and then the fraction after it. Okay? When we are entering a fraction and there's a negative involved, we can't put the negative in a bottom of a fraction. That technically isn't the correct form for a fraction, even though sometimes we still see them and come across them, right? It's not technically simplified. So if we see a fraction that says something like 23 over -2, right? We could do 23 ABC -2, but if we put that in our calculator, it says error. We can't have that negative there. So we either are going to have to adjust and pull that negative out to the front and do -23 ABC2, right? If we do that, that's fine. It's just giving it to us as an output as a mixed number. Or we'll have to replace a fraction bar with a division. Okay, so if I have 23 ABC -2 and I get that error, when I hit clear, it's telling me, yeah, that negative's a problem. I can just move my cursor on top of the fraction bar and I can change that into division. And then my students say, well, then why should I use the fraction button at all? Well, it's gonna default then to treating this as division and giving you a decimal output, which just might lead to some extra keystrokes later as we're looking. Okay, also keep in mind if there are two negatives reduced to a positive, and we could just ignore them altogether. Okay, so once we know how to enter those fractions, if we come across a problem where we have to do some type of operation, right, our calculator can then do that for us. So in your calculator right now with me, I want you to put in 3 1/3. So we're gonna do 3, ABC1, ABC3, then the addition sign, 7, ABC5, ABC6. Now, when we get this output, it's giving us this U. That tells us that it's a mixed number of 11 and 1/6. So we'll get an answer of 11 and 1/6. So now I want you to do the second one on your own and then select the correct answer. So we're doing 4, ABC2, ABC3, and then minus the subtraction sign, 6, ABC1, ABC5, and we get out -1 and 8/15. Okay, so number 3 has multiplication. So we're doing 4 and 1/5 times 6/7. And we get 3 and 3/5. Okay, so I want you to do number 4 and select the correct answer. So we should have done 7, ABC 2, ABC 3, divided by 1, ABC 2, and we get out 15 and 1/3. Now, your calculator will also change the format that it's in. So we can change from an improper, which is a larger number on top of the fraction, a smaller number on bottom, to a mixed fraction, right, which is where we have the big number in front. So let's say we work out the problem of 3 and 2/3 plus 4 and 1/2. Okay, we get 8 and 1/6. But maybe we don't want to work with this number as a mixed number. We want to work with it as an improper fraction. Okay, so to do that, we're going to press second. So your second button is going to be the button that's a different color. So no matter what color your calculator, it's in this upper left-hand corner. Okay, and then you're going to press the ABC. So when you press the second button, what it's doing is it's going to access the second option for the button. And that's what's written in the light color blue writing, or whatever color writing is the color of your button, right? So this button is green, it's the writing in green. And if we look right above the ABC button, I don't even know if I can zoom in on this well enough. You might just have to look on your calculator. But if we look right above the ABC button, it says ABC and then arrows to DE, right? It's showing a mixed to an improper fraction. And so that's exactly what it's doing. It's going to change it from mixed to improper. So we're just going to leave that answer that we have in the calculator, and then we're going to press second ABC, and it's just going to change its format. So 49/6 is equivalent. Now, obviously, I would hope we would know we could take 6 times 8 plus 1 and get that, but your calculator will do that for you. Okay, so if we look at number 5, we'll do 8 ABC 3 ABC 7 plus 1 ABC 2 ABC 3 equals, and we get 10 and 2/21. I want you to then tell me what this will be as an improper fraction. Okay, you should have hit second PRB, or sorry, second ABC, and got an answer of 212/21. So we're actually going to skip number 6. I'll go over here at number 7. Okay, so we're going to type this in our calculator exactly how we see it. So we're going to do 6 and 2/3. Now, when we read this, right, this says minus parentheses. The parentheses are above the 8 and the 9. So I'm going to do an open parenthesis, -1. So to type in a -1, I have to do my negative button, which is down here. So -1 and 1/2. I'm going to close up that parenthesis. Okay, so I get 8 and 1/6. So what would this be as an improper fraction? Oh, we should have done second ABC, and we get 49/6. Our calculator, can also do decimals to fractions, whether it's an improper or mixed. We'll then use what we just learned to go either way there. Okay, and we can do that by doing second PRB, right? So again, the second button, PRB has that F to D written right above it. That's fraction to decimal. Okay, so if I do 2 and 3/5 plus 1 and 1/2, okay, I'm getting out an answer of 4 and 1/10. But maybe I don't want a fraction and I want that to be a decimal. Now, again, it would be great that we recognize that 1/10 is 0.1, but again, with more complicated fractions, that might not be the case. So what we can do is we can hit second and then PRB. It will show up as F to D, fraction to decimal, hit equals, and it's going to turn it into a decimal for us. Okay, so let's look at number 8. 8 and 3/4 plus 1 and 2/5. We get 10 and 3/20. What is this as a decimal? Well, if we hit second PRB, we get out 10.15. Now, you could go in reverse too. So if you hit second PRB again, it'll take it back into a fraction. Okay, and then you could use the other keystrokes and do second ABC and go from mixed and proper. So you can sort of work in between all those different options anytime. Okay, so if we look at number 9, we do 3.52 plus 1.2. We get 4.72. So let's turn this into a fraction. So we'll do second PRB, and we get out 4 and 18/25. Okay, we're gonna skip number 10 there. We can also do square roots in our calculator. Okay, to access the square root button, we're gonna hit second and then x squared. So x squared is to the left of the 7 here. And right above it, again, in that light blue writing is our square root button. So if I wanna take the square root of 256, I can hit second x squared, 256 equals, and I get out 16. Okay, so I want you to find the square root of number 11. So do the square root of 1,156. So when we do that, second x squared, we get 34. Now, these are some more complex ones. We're not going to worry about them right now. They will eventually come up in Algebra 1, 2, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay, exponents. We do have an exponent button on our calculator that lets us type in any exponent. So we do also have our x squared button over here, okay, which allows us to do an exponent of 2. But if we want to do an exponent other than 2, we can do that with our up caret button, which is right here. Okay, so to do that, right, maybe we want to do 3 to the 5th power. We'll type in 3, and then we'll type in that up caret button. So we'll do that up caret, which makes those 2 sides of the triangle show up. And then 5 equals. Okay, so let's say we want to do number 15, 6 to the negative 2. What does that give us? Okay, so we get this really weird decimal, and if you were looking at the multiple choice going, I couldn't find that anywhere, right, we would then need to change that by going second PRB, because that's our fraction to decimal, and we get 1/36. Okay, last thing finally is we can do anything with order of operations. So we can just type these big old long lists of stuff into our calculator and just let the calculator give us an answer. It'd be really fantastic if we all remembered them. Some things to remember, it's PEMDAS, multiplication and division come together and go left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. Okay, it'd be really great if you remembered those things. But again, in our calculator, we could just do 12 divided by 4 plus 3 parentheses 6 squared minus 2 times 3 close parenthesis minus 8 divided by 2 times 2. And then what do we get out? We should have got 85. Okay, so number 18, we just want to be really careful when we enter this because we have some fractions that have some negatives involved. So if we put a parenthesis, okay, we want negative 9 ABC 5, close parenthesis, times. Now in the second one, we have 2 negatives. 2 negatives make what? They make a positive. So we can just leave this as a positive 3 ABC 4 plus 6, and then in parentheses, okay, so we have a negative on the denominator. So we had 2 option choices of what we could do with this. What are one of the options we could have done? Right, we said we could pull that negative out in front. So I can do negative 1 ABC 2, close parenthesis, plus 5, and then remember that up caret button's over here, so up caret 3 equals, and we get 120 and 13/20.